Hello, here we are again. I hope my previous video was beneficial to everyone. This time around, we will go through one of the Form 5 poems, which is A Poison Tree. In this video, we will first look at the meaning of important words, and then I will recite the poem for you to listen to, followed by analysis stanza by stanza before I summarize the whole poem, and finally I will highlight the lessons that we can learn from this poem. Here are the list of important words from this poem which you need to know. Wrath, foe, deceitful, wiles, beheld, veiled, pole, and outstretched. The first word is wrath. Wrath means extreme anger or rage or fury. In BM, it is perasaan marah yang ekstrim. Look at those pictures. That woman and that anger from inside out is very angry. They are very angry. The second word is foe. Foe means the enemy, an antagonist, an opponent, or an adversary. In BM, it's musuh, seteru, or lawan. Right? Foe is the opposite of friend. Next is the word deceitful. Deceitful comes from the word deceit, which comes from the word deceive. Deceive is to lie, which is tipu. Right? The word deceitful means cunning, devious, dishonest. In BM, it's tidak jujur, penuh penipuan, atau penuh kepalsuan. The word wiles means trickeries or deceptions. In BM, it is tipu hela. The word beheld comes from the word behold. Behold means to see or to observe. So the word beheld is saw or observed. In BM, it's melihat atau memerhati. It doesn't have to be spying like the one in the picture, but it's to see. Right? Memerhatikan sesuatu. The word veiled means covered with something, shrouded in something, or concealed or hidden. In BM, it's terlindung atau diselubungi sesuatu ataupun tersembunyi. Right? Look at the picture to get the idea of what veil actually means. The word pole means stick or post, tiang ataupun batang. Right? Look at the example of the pictures. It's the electric or lamp post. However, in the poem, the word pole has a different meaning. Later, we will go to it. And the last one is outstretch. You know the word stretch, right? Regang and regang, right? So the word outstretched comes from the word outstretch or stretch out. And here the word outstretch means lying on the ground with hands and legs stretching out. In BM, it's terbaring dalam keadaan terlentang. Look at that girl. She looks so happy, outstretched on the leaves. So, are you ready for poem recitation? You can quietly follow as I recite this poem. A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning, with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles, and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Now, let's analyze the first stanza. The first stanza shows that the persona was angry at two different people, two different individuals. The first one is to his friend, and the second one is to his foe or his enemy. So let's look one by one. The first person the persona was angry at is his friend. Well, sometimes you joke around, you kid around, you tease your friends. Sometimes you hurt their feelings. Or sometimes they hurt your feelings. It's normal, right? And you might get angry about it. So, the persona was angry with his friend. We do not know what the friend have done, but the persona was angry at his friend. So what happened after that? I told my wrath. So the persona talked to the friend. Look at the picture. Hey bro, I need to talk to you. So he told his friend that he was angry with his friend. What happened after that? So when he told his friend that he was angry with his friend, then the friend realized about it and apologized. Sometimes you are angry with people, but people do not know that you are angry at them. So by telling the friend that he was angry at him, the friend apologized to him. And because of that, his wrath ended. He did not angry at his friend anymore. The second person the persona was angry at is his foe, his enemy. Sometimes even though you are classmates with everyone, but there are people that you do not like. Well, that's normal, right? And sometimes these people that you do not like think of you as their friend, and they joke around with you, they tease you, and it makes you angry at them, right? You don't like them, and then they come and hurt your feelings, so you hate them, right? You are angry at them. But normally, do you tell your enemy that you are angry at them? Normally you don't. You will keep it to yourself. You keep it bottled up inside. So this persona, he was angry at his foe and he did not tell his foe about it. Unlike what he did with his friend. So he did not tell his foe that he was angry. So what happened? My wrath did grow. So the persona's wrath, his anger, grew even more. He became angrier. He began to hate the foe. Here are the things that we can summarize from stanza 1. The persona was angry with two individuals. Who are they? His friend and his foe. The persona explained to his friend that he was angry, so he did not feel angry at his friend anymore. However, the persona kept his anger a secret from his foe, and this makes his anger worse. In stanza 2, the persona compared his anger to a seed. Seed is biji benih, and he took care of his anger. He kept it within himself, he kept it a secret within himself, and it finally turned into a tree, a poison tree. But how did he do it? So how can a seed grow into a tree? First, you must water it, and you must also expose it to the sun. So, in stanza 2, the persona used metaphor. Alright, so he watered it. It here refers to his anger, to the seed of anger. So he watered it and then he sunned it. With what? The water that he used to water the seeds of anger is his tears. Right? And he did it in fears. When you fear people, what do? You keep it a secret. You do it quietly. So this persona was angry at his foe quietly, in secret. He did not tell anyone. He kept it to himself. He cried. When you are angry at certain people that you cannot, talk back, you cannot talk back to them, sometimes you just cry alone. And that's what the persona did. And the persona compared the sun with smiles. But not just any smiles, it's the smile with soft, deceitful wiles. Here it means the persona pretend to smile, right? When the foe comes to talk to him, he smiles. But deep inside, he was angry, right? So he was angry. Remember earlier, he kept it a secret. So to make the foe believes him, he used soft, deceitful wiles. In BM, we can say it's madah berhela. Kata-kata manis to trick people, right? To make them fall into your trap. So what we can summarize from stanza 2 is the persona's anger towards his foe turned into a vengeance. Alright? So he did not just get angry, he wanted revenge. He wants to do something bad to his foe. He secretly plotted a vengeance towards his foe. How he did it? He suffered quietly, so he did not show that he was angry. Why? Because he wants to pretend to be okay in front of his foe. When you do not show that you are angry at people, people will believe that you are his friend. And while your enemy believes that you are his friend, you can secretly and quietly plan something bad to do to them. But of course, you should not do that. Remember the seed the persona planted in stanza 2? So in stanza 3, the first two it here, the pronouns here, and it grew both day and night till it bore an apple bright. So these two it here refers to this seed, right? The anger. And it grew into into a tree, right? How it grew into a tree? Because the persona took care of the tree both day and night, meaning the persona took care of the tree every day, all the time. So what happened when you look after a tree? It finally bore fruits. It finally bear fruits. And in this case, the poison tree bears a poison apple, right? And it looks so bright and shiny. So in stanza 3, the first two eats refer to the seed or anger, and the next two eats in line 3 and line 4 refers to the apple. So what happened when the persona had the apple? Remember, the apple is bright and shiny. The foe beheld it. So the foe observed, the foe looked at the apple, right? He was jealous, right? What happened when someone is jealous at somebody else? They want it. They want it for themselves. So this foe wanted that apple, even though he knew that the apple belongs to the persona. What we can summarize for stanza 3 is the persona's plan for vengeance grew as he had planned. It was successful because in stanza 3 it says that it finally bore an apple bright, right? In English, we use the term bear fruit to show that something shows success. So here, the poison tree bore an apple. Apple is a fruit. So it means here that the vengeance, the plan for vengeance is successful. And the foe began to feel jealous with the person's apple, which is actually a trap that the persona had already set up. And this foe, he was jealous and he wanted the apple. However, the foe did not know that he was actually deceived and has already fell into the persona's trap. In stanza 4, there is an important phrase, which is the night had veiled the pole. Earlier, we learned the word veiled means covered or hide, right? Or to conceal. So, the night had concealed, the night had hidden, the night had covered the pole. What is the pole? What is it that looks like a post, look like a stick? Yes, the poison tree. So, when the night had veiled the pole, meaning you cannot see the pole because night is dark. The darkness of the night had covered the pole, meaning it was so dark. That is when the foe did something. What did he do? Into my garden stole. That is what the foe did. Did he steal the garden? Dia curi garden tu ke? No, he cannot steal the garden. So, he stole into my garden stole actually means that he stealthily, he quietly entered the garden. Why would he do that? Remember earlier, he was jealous of the poison apple because it was so bright and shine? Yes, he stealthily entered the garden to steal the apple. So, what happened to the foe after he stole into the garden? Obviously, if you stole an apple, what would you do? You would eat the apple, isn't it? So, in the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Right? So, the next morning, when the persona woke up and he went to the tree, he saw that the foe was outstretched, terbaring terlentang under the tree. Is he dead? Is the foe dead? We do not know. It's probable. Well, he might be dead, or at least we know that he is now poisoned. So, it serves him right. Curilah lagi kan. So, that's why you should not be jealous and try to take what is not yours. In stanza 4, we can summarize that the foe secretly tried to steal or sabotage the persona's apple. However, the foe did not know that he fell right into the persona's trap, and in the end, he suffered from it. In the poem, in stanza 4, we were shown that the foe outstretched beneath the tree. He was poisoned and he was probably dead. And the persona felt satisfied. He was glad. He was happy to see the end of his foe. Right? The foe deserves it. This whole poem is actually one big metaphor. Of course, the persona did not plant any trees, but the poison tree, is a metaphor, right? Is a metaphor for a plan of revenge. And the apple, the poison apple, is a symbol, a metaphor for a successful trap, which the foe ended up stealing it, eating it, and dead, poisoned. Right. So, what we can summarize for this whole poem is the first one. This poem is about anger, how we manage our anger. In this poem, we were shown that the persona was angry at two different people, and he managed his anger differently. To his friend, he forgave, and finally he forgot, and he was happy and lives peacefully. However, with his foe, it's not the same. He kept it a secret, he kept it bottled up inside, and as a result, he became angrier, and he finally planned a vengeance. So this poem highlights what happens if we do not control our anger, right? The persona did not control his anger. In fact, he planned to take revenge on the foe. And at the end, what happened? Right? At the end, the foe died. So it raises a question about what is right and what is wrong. So if we are angry at people, is it right to take vengeance on them? Of course, it's not right. But some people would justify that the foe has done so many bad things to the persona. In fact, that is not enough. He tried to steal the apple. So he deserved it. Padan muka dia mati. Right? But of course, we must always be positive and take positive stance. What are the lessons that we can learn from this poem? Well, actually, there are a lot of lessons that we can learn. But here are some of the lessons. The first one is we should forgive everyone who has wronged us, even though they are our enemies. Okay, so we should not take revenge. Even though we are angry at people, we should forgive them. It's not just for their sake, but also for our own peace of mind. The next one is anger is poisonous and it destroys both us and our enemies. As we look at the poem, the foe, towards the end, he was outstretched under the tree, right? He was dead, maybe dead or at least poisoned. And even though the persona was smiling, he was happy, but inside he has killed the good person he was, right? So it was a lose-lose battle if you are angry, if you keep your anger with you. And the last one is we must learn to manage our anger, because anger destroys both the enemy and the one who is angry. So we must always learn to manage our anger. How do we manage our anger? There are many ways of doing it. For example, if you are angry, you can control your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, or you can do activities that makes you calm. For example, maybe singing, sleep, and for Muslims you can recite the Quran or pray, and for non-Muslims maybe you can, meditate so that you can achieve peace of mind, right? So these are the lessons that you can learn from this poem. That's all for this video. I hope you have learned something from this video, and if I have more time, if I have the opportunity, I will come up with new videos for the other poems, inshallah, if God's willing. Alright, so thank you for watching.